welcome to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. No, I'm not trying to put you to sleep, but that's the best I have. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is Rudy Reyes, and look, good afternoon. Thank you. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. About to kick off this 2017 NFL Draft the right way, and of course the right way is with Tahj Dennis, product of Bridgeport, fullback out of Valdosta State University. Tahj Dennis, how are you? And thank you for coming on to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thanks for coming on. And look, the NFL draft is upon us. Everybody's probably freaking out, saying, "Am I going to get a call? Am I going to be the person that you're looking for? Can I do something on your roster? Can I just get onto special teams?" A lot of times, Tahj, as you know, because of the football lineage, and we'll go into that in regards to how you're able to affect a team if you get the call. What are your thoughts on the upcoming draft, and what does it mean to you to be one of the few fullbacks to enter the draft out of a Valdosta State University program?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be here. Definitely a blessing. It's a humbling experience as well. You know, just these are just life moments, you know what I'm saying, that I could take with me forever. And so I'm just embracing the process and enjoying the process, spending time with the family, and see what happens.
You know, this isn't something that you're accustomed to. Or is it? You've had a very long, tumultuous journey to get to this point. Sometimes some of the players that I've spoken with, talked to offline, say, you know, I didn't even play football until I got to high school. Or I didn't play, you know, I redshirted in my first year of high school or my first year in college. You didn't redshirt at all. As a matter of fact, you started at the Pop Warner system. And when I look at your film, when I look at your numbers, when I look what you did last year, being the fullback, having the touches that you had, there's some appreciation involved in this entire process. It almost acts as if there's a level of humility. Tell me what it is about being a part of the process that makes you very humble and makes you realize that your journey is not over.
Right. That's definitely one of the most important things for me, is just how far I've come and the things that has transpired in my life and things that happened for me to even be here, which makes it all worthwhile.
Well, what makes it more worthwhile is that you had South Carolina, LSU, South Florida, UConn, Florida A&M, amongst other colleges that were looking for you, that were looking at you, and it expressed some interest. When you knew that they were looking at you, what were your thoughts about that? Did you feel that perhaps they were going to, and you thought to yourself, you know what, I'll get there, maybe not with them, but I'll get there eventually?
All right. Well, I went to a big high school, you know, especially in North Florida, this big high school for football, First Coast High School, and every year we send players out. Every year. So I never played JV football. I played varsity ever since I was a freshman. And so since I was pretty much 14 and I was able to compete on the varsity level, I ain't played as much as a freshman, but as a sophomore, I was a starter on varsity as a sophomore. So from then on, when I knew I could compete with my peers who's getting recruited, I knew I could play on a higher level. And then when the bigger schools came in town and visited, you know, and expressed interest and talked with me, I knew this is something that can really happen for me.
I know as well. Matter of fact, anybody out there who should know that they have to have the app to listen to this interview today, because this is draft week. This week for me and the Rude Dog Show is filled with nothing but draft contenders. Not pretenders, contenders. Why? Because they, above all else, know the situation, know what they're heading into, and have clearly defined the road to get there. It's just a question as to whether or not they receive the call that they're waiting for. My hope is that you get your name called, Tahj, when we're talking about guys who are needed in the offensive system for teams that are looking for fullbacks. Now, you're not just a fullback, you're a punt return, special teams, blocking fullback, but something about taking your ACT and how late you were in getting that done disabled you from really being sure as to whether or not you're going to qualify to get to the next level? Was it something that you thought you were going to have to wait on, or did you believe that those ACTs would be something that you can possibly pass by?
Well, during the time I was going through the process, I was kind of uneducated about, how important the ACTs were. I knew it was something I was going to have to take before the college, but I didn't know how soon I was going to have to take it. So I kind of procrastinated, and I took my ACTs late, and I took mine the weekend after signing day. And I thought, oh, all right, well, I'll take the test. It shouldn't take that much longer for me to get my results back. But it took about 3 months. I had no idea it takes that long to get your results back. So by the time I got my results, I passed them, on my first try with no problems. And I was qualified, to play Division I football, big Division I football. The schools that were recruiting me, South Carolina, South Florida, Florida A&M, LSU, who expressed interest, I called the coaches and told them, let them know I qualified, and they was all happy for me. But then it was like bad news. It was bittersweet because they was happy for me that I was able to pass when I was qualified, but they at their point, they moved down in the recruiting process because they didn't know if I was going to qualify or not. So at that point, the bigger schools offered me preferred walk-ons. And at the time, I didn't want to, most kids don't want to pay for college, not coming from where I come from. You really can't afford to pay for college on your own. And one of the few schools that was trying to get me to come in was Albany State in Georgia. And they offered me a scholarship. I planned on going there, and then my mother had got sick. And so kind of
Yeah, perfectly understandable. You're in a situation where you're trying to get to the next level, and you know what? Let's touch on the colleges who decided to further on in the recruitment process. And it's really sad. Any colleges, any head coaches, athletic directors are clearly not doing their job by moving on the recruiting process. It's almost as if people are sleeping on you throughout the entire draft process. Teams that haven't been in contact with you, teams that haven't called you, haven't contacted your agent, haven't in any way, shape, or form inquired with you because they're under the assumption naturally that you're not going to get to the next level. Why? Because they feel as though you're not going to do it, so then they move on. Legitimately, you had every opportunity to pass, just like every other person that's taken their ACTs. I took my ACTs, but that doesn't mean that I was ready to go anywhere other than making sure that I took the ACT. It's almost as if saying that the Wonderlic will determine as to whether or not I will get to the next level. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday in regards to that. Matter of fact, Emery Hunt of Football Game Plan, we were going back and forth and saying the Wonderlic doesn't necessarily determine whether or not somebody's going to be good in football because it's an action-reaction moment. And your action-reaction when you receive that notification from Albany State that they're going to offer you a scholarship was something that you were waiting for, at least somebody to offer that to you. What were your thoughts about the ACT and the fact that it had taken you 3 months to get your results?
As far as taking the test, I had no problem. I had no problem with it. I always made good grades. I graduated high school with a 3.2 GPA. I finished college with a 3.1 GPA. So grades was never an issue. I was very, very confident in myself taking the ACT, so I was never really worried about it. I just figured whenever I take it, I'll take it. But I had no idea the process of it was taking 3 months to get my results back. I didn't know that was the process. But you live and you learn. It's something that maybe if I go back on, I'll change, but I can't change it now, so I've just got to live with the results.
Well, you can't change it anyway. I mean, it's not your fault in relation to how long it had taken for you to receive the results. At that point, it is what it is. That's exactly what happened, but you decided to move forward. Albany State certainly expressed enough interest in you, offering a full scholarship. You had stated to your mom, was not doing so well, and she was diagnosed with having lupus. And from what I know of lupus, it's very, it's a very bad problem. It's a very bad physical ailment to have, and it takes over your entire body. And wanting to be with your mom was something that had came across to you when you heard about it. It was, oh man, look, now I have to stop doing this. I need to go take care of my mom. And it was almost you did a 180, because here you are ready to get to the next level. Your mom's lupus was something that was diagnosed. You heard, you said, you know what? I'm dropping everything, because without my mom, without my family, without those people that have been there the whole time, I mean, what could any when you received the news that your mom was diagnosed with lupus?
Well, I mean, at the time, I was aware of the disease. I knew it was a kidney disease that affects the immune system and all that, because I have an auntie, well, I had an auntie who had lupus, who passed away when I was younger. And, but the only thing I knew was she had lupus. I really didn't know I really wasn't really fully educated on the disease at the time. I just knew she passed away of lupus. And then when my mom was diagnosed, that was the first thing that popped in my head was I lost my aunt Debbie before to this, and I was scared that I was going to lose my mother. So it was like school or football, I didn't even care about at the time. It was like, I need to be with my mom, I need to be with my family. So it was a tough time, but, you know, we got through it.
Well, that is the mindset that everybody needs to have, especially facing something like this. And somebody that I heard of, you had stated that your auntie had passed away, and my condolences to you. But when you look at lupus itself, it's a very debilitating disease and can be life-threatening, unfortunately. But as your mom progressed, you're 2 years into it, you're fully embossed in helping your mom with the recovery process. What were her words to you? How did she encourage you to get back on the proverbial horse to keep riding onwards into the sunset, so that way you can fulfill your dreams of playing football?
Right. Well, my mom was very appreciative of myself, and not only just myself, it was not just me, but my stepfather, my grandmother, my little brothers. We all bonded together, and, you know, we all fought this disease with my mom together. We was all in. It was all in and nothing. And just the state of my mindset at the time, where I wouldn't call myself going through like a depression, but I just wasn't happy with where I was at in life, you know. And my mom was feeling better. She was starting to feel better. She was progressing tremendously, and she encouraged me. She was like, she wanted me to go back to school. She wanted me to go to school. She wanted me to educate myself and put myself in a better position to live life the way the way I should live life. And me, I still had a passion, desire playing football. Watching football is all I know, you know. So watching football on Saturdays and Sundays, or even going up to the high school on Fridays to watch some of the games, I still had that itch to play. So I decided, you know, if I'm gonna go back to school, I might as well try to play ball again. You know, it's something I always want to do. Why not? And things don't work, but I could live with the results of me at least trying. And so at the time, I had an older cousin who just got drafted by the Buffalo Bills. He was going into like year 3. And there was some JUCOs that I was talking to, and then I found one in Buffalo. And I was he was like, I have to bring you in. I have to get you here. And so with the coach wanting to bring me in so much, and my cousin up there, it just felt like it was the right spot for me to start over, basically. So that's how I ended up in Buffalo.
You know, life is about starting over. The situations that face us, sometimes we're not really ready for. You know, when you look at situations environments, people around us, the positives, the negatives. And sometimes starting over is a great way to clear your mind, to clear your conscience, to clear your path. And that's exactly what happened. You decided to move up to Buffalo. Your cousin, Mark Cece, who plays for the Buffalo Bills, certainly the right environment because your cousin was able to assist you in certain ways to help keep you on track while attending Erie Community College. What types of conversations did you have with your cousin in regards to the NFL and playing in any given system?
Right. Well, me and my cousin are extremely close. He's more like a big brother than he is a big cousin to me. And so I had an off-campus apartment that I'll pretty much stay at my apartment Monday through Friday. And from Friday night, the night before the games, I'll stay at his apartment since we play in Orchard Park where the Bills play at. We play right across the street from the Bills stadium. So I will stay with him on the weekends because I'll go to my games on Saturday, and then I'll go to the Bills games on Sunday and watch him play. And spending time with him helped me out a lot because it gave me a chance to see things other people couldn't see. You know, you're around professional athletes, not just my cousin, but I'm hanging out with, guys like Stevie Johnson and Mario Williams and Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods and all these other players that I became friends with through my cousin. It gave me a chance to see the life you can achieve through playing football. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, Stevie Johnson was one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL. He was the biggest name on the Buffalo Bills at the time. And Stevie Johnson inspired me a lot because he went to the JUCO route just like I did. And he was a 7th-round draft pick, wasn't expected to make the team, and he ended up being the #1 person on the team, got a $40 million contract. And I'm in his house playing video games with him. I'm looking at the type of house he has, you know what I'm saying, just off of playing football. And he came through a route similar to mine, JUCO to a bigger school and then to the league. So being around my cousin brought me valuable information, some valuable lessons. It was just a blessing to be around him. And even when I left Erie and I came to Valdosta, and even now, we talk every day. Like, he's been with me every step of this journey, which I've definitely been appreciative of.
No doubt about it. I look at guys like Marcus Easley, and clearly you made the right decision, and you can go up to a different location, starting over, not really knowing anybody, befriending people.